Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where, believe it or not, today, well, on the 23rd of March 2020, the UK went into its first COVID lockdown. And it was on that day that Mark and I decided we were going to start to do 2 videos every day on Cracking the Cryptic in order to try and sort of, I suppose, provide people with a little bit of entertainment during that period. And here we are 5 years later, and we have not missed a day since. We have done 2 videos every day now for 5 years, which I don't know what to make of that. Well, to be honest, it's a great privilege, and it still remains a great joy for me to solve these puzzles, and I'm still amazed that anybody wants to watch me solve them. But it does feel like a bit of a birthday for the channel today, and we've picked a puzzle to have a go at that actually goes back in some ways to that period. This puzzle was released originally in May 2021. It's called Quines, and it's by Manus Hand. And I don't know, I can't remember why we didn't do it at the time. It's a very beautiful looking puzzle. It's got a huge rating on Logic Masters, and I checked and we had it recommended to us. But Manus wrote to us recently and suggested we might take another look at it, and also happened to mention, and this is awful, that Manus's son in the meantime has tragically passed. So Manus, we were shocked and appalled to hear that, and I'm so sorry for your loss. And well, we're going to have a look at this puzzle and try and solve it, and maybe provide Manus with a tiny crumb of comfort in doing that. So this is today's puzzle. It's 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and apparently it's really rather lovely, and it's also very colourful, and that feels good. So that's the opening I wanted to talk to you about. I'm now going to switch gears somewhat and mention yesterday, where Mark and I we went to Oxford. We went to Magdalen College, Oxford. We've been invited to appear at a conference by Roddy and Simon, and I mean, it was really, I don't know if this picture will do it justice. It probably won't. But there we are. We were invited to do a sort of live edition of our masterclass where we solve a cryptic crossword. You can see this puzzle on the screen. It wasn't just any old cryptic crossword. It had been compiled specially for the occasion by, I think, 19 very well-known cryptic crossword writers, I think many of whom were in the audience. So it was a lot of fun to do that. And this puzzle, you can play it yourself. So I'm going to put a link to it under this video in case you're interested. And I will also remind you that the reason I arrived at Oxford slightly later than intended, I'd intended to go for the whole day and sort of listen to the talks by John Finnemore and Susie Dent, but I just caught the end of Susie Dent's portion of the conference, because I had to do battle with John Henderson's Times crossword yesterday, which was the hardest Times crossword on record. It was an absolutely brutal and brilliant puzzle. So anybody who's got any interest in cryptic crosswords, definitely check out yesterday morning's video. You might find something incredible. In fact, I'm going to do something else as well related to that puzzle. I think there was a reference to a glebe cow, and I couldn't remember. I thought I'd heard a glebe cow in poetry. And I think I mistakenly thought it was Elegy Country Churchyard. Is it Thomas Gray? And I think I mistook it. It was like the lowing herd winds slowly over the lea. And for some reason I had glebe cow in my mind. Then I think it might have been half man, half biscuit. But somebody put me right. and included in the comments to the crossword video yesterday the poem Channel Firing by Thomas Hardy. And it's been a while since I've read this poem, and it reminded me of just how absolutely brilliant this poem is. I'm just thinking about this at the moment. I'm so sorry if you've come here for a Sudoku and you're going to have to sit through a poetry reading. I really am appalled. I'm sorry about that. But I do want to share this poem with you. I think it's absolutely amazing. If you haven't heard it before, it's like a conversation between, I think Thomas Hardy wrote it at the start of the First World War, as sort of an indictment of what was going on, and it's sort of a conversation between God and those who have already been killed and are sort of lying there in their coffins. And the use of language is stunning. Anyway, let me read it to you, and you can let me know what you think. It's called, as I say, Channel Firing by Thomas Hardy. That night your great guns unawares shook all our coffins as we lay, and broke the chancel window squares. We thought it was the judgment day, and sat upright, while drearisome arose the howl of wakened hounds. The mouse let fall the altar crumb, the worms drew back into the mounds. The glebe cow drooled, till God called, no, it's gunnery practice out at sea. Just as before you went below, the world is as it used to be. All nations striving strong to make red war yet redder, mad as hatters they do no more for Christ's sake than you who are helpless in such matters. That this is not the judgment hour, for some of them's a blessed thing, for if it were they'd have to scour hell's floor for so much threatening. Ha ha, it will be warmer when I blow the trumpet, if indeed I ever do, for you are men and rest eternal sorely need. So down we lay again. I wonder, will the world ever saner be, said one, than when he sent us under in our indifferent century? And many a skeleton shook his head. Instead of preaching 40 year, my neighbour Parson Thirdly said, I wish I had stuck to pipes and beer. Again the guns disturbed the hour, roaring their readiness to avenge, as far inland as Stourton Tower, and Camelot, and starlit Stonehenge. That's stunning. I think that's really, really cool. In fact, Stonehenge, let me just talk about the pyramids and what's going on underneath them. Isn't that incredible? Anyway, I'm going to get distracted again. Anything else that I wanted to mention? I did want to talk about the Nurikabi. Have I got it here? I thought I did. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. It's there. Let me click on you. Let me click on you, Nurikabi. This is Blob's Nurikabi thing, and it won't. Why won't it let me click on it? You bad, naughty puzzle. Hang on. I can, if I move that slightly, then it will let me click on it. Yay! There we go. So this is our competition for March. It is now closed, but I have not yet redone the numbers. So we had 1,254 as of a few days ago. What was the final count? 1,369, with over 2,000 of you solving the first puzzle. Very well done to everyone who solved any part of it. Well done to Blobs for making such a wonderful, wonderful hunt. It's still up there now, so if you still want to have a go, do have a go, do get involved. Absolutely stupendous stuff. We will draw a winner shortly and offer them the opportunity to make a Sudoku video that will hopefully appear on the channel in due course. And I think that's everything. I have no birthdays to do today, surprisingly. So let's have a look at Quines by Manus Hand. These are the rules. We have got coloured regions. Oh, okay. Oh, hang on, there's nothing that says normal Sudoku. I think normal Sudoku rules apply, so let's start with that. Normal Sudoku rules apply. We've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. The 2-digit number within the red cage in each region is the sum total of all the digits in that region. Right, so those 2 digits there, so say this was 35, which it probably can't be, but let's say it was. If that was 35, then those cells would sum to 35. So if that's 3 and that's 5, if this is 45, then those cells would sum to 45. If... oh, we could keep going with this. But you get the idea. So basically, on the left-hand side is the tens digit, on the right-hand side is the units digit. Digits along an arrow add to the digit in the circle. So those 3 digits, imagine these were 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4 add up to 7. So we would write 7 in the circle. And grey circles, we've got at least 2 of those. No, exactly 2 of them. They have to contain an odd digit. So this might be 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9. One of those will be correct. That's all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, okay. I think this puzzle must rely heavily on a secret. Now, I think the secret was known in May 2021. I'm sure it was. But if you've never heard the secret of Sudoku, I am going to share it with you now. It's it's something I share with only my favourite people. But if you're still watching this video 11 minutes 55 seconds in and you've listened to me reading poetry, you certainly deserve to know the secret. The secret is that any complete box of Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, sums to 45, because it will contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, and if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9, you get 45. So, you can see that, well, almost all, that one isn't, and that one isn't, but all of these seem to have some nexus with 45. This one is more than, oh, that's a 9. Sorry, and the way I'm seeing that is that they are 2 complete boxes of the Sudoku in whatever the colour. Is this a lilac-y colour? In lilac, we've got at least 45 plus 45 plus that number. So we're on 90 plus this number is equal to a 2-digit total. So this must be a 9. It just must be. And in fact, whatever that digit is that digit. Now, if I colour those, are they going to... actually, I'm not sure. I might use a letter. Let me just use it. I'm just going to plonk a letter in there, because those 2 digits are the same, because this is the units digit that differs the overall lilac total from 90 itself, so it must go in that cell. And I suppose it can't be greater than 6. Oh, actually, yes, okay. That's another little point I'm noticing here. All of these arrows are 3 cells long, 3 different numbers. Now, 2 things about that. The first is that each of these circles must therefore be at least 6, because even if we minimise this, 1, 2, 3, they would add up. It adds up to 6 at least, doesn't it? Second thing is that on a 3-cell arrow, you can't include a digit bigger than a 6, because let's put 7 in. 7 plus 1 plus 2 is 10, which is not fittable into a circle. So this is a maximum of 96, this one. Oh, okay, but it's not 96, because if it was 96, these two, if this was a 6, these two would have to be a 1-2 pair in some order. So the maximum size of this peach region would be 21, but it can't add up to 21. I mean, what's the minimum it could add up to? If that was a 6 and this was a 1-2 pair, that would be 9. Oh, I think Maverick's about to take off. With Heathrow being shut, I did wonder whether Maverick's airstrip was going to become busier, but I don't think that is a jet engine. okay, hang on, let me just do the maths on this. So that's 7 different digits, isn't it? If we think, so let's make them the smallest. Oh, we can't make them the smallest 7 because that would then make this at least an 8, which it can't be. Okay, let's make that a 6 and that a 9. That's 15, isn't it? So the secret, which is 45, minus 15 is 30. 39 is the minimum value then, if that was 6 plus 1 plus 2. So that's at least a 3 for the tens digit. 3, 4, 5 or 6. And what's the biggest we could have here? Could we actually have a 6 digit? Well, that would make these a 1-2 pair, wouldn't it? Which makes these 42 plus 24 if this was 987. So we could. Absolutely we could. Oh, I'm quite surprised about that. Okay. Alright, so that probably isn't where we're meant to look then. Should we? I feel like it must be this row or this row because we've got so many of the red cages. What about this number then? So the maximum size of this is going to be, make this a 1, and that would be 44 plus 789, I suppose. 44 plus 24 is 68. So that's a maximum of 6. And a minimum, if this was an, oh, it can't be a 9. If that was an 8, oh, which that can't be an 8. This definitely isn't adding to 80 something. Oh. Bobbins. Right, this is where we should have started. What's this tens digit here? And the answer is, it's a teenage digit. Because imagine this was 20. Now you may say, oh well, yes, we can definitely make 3 different Sudoku digits add up to 20. You're quite right, but not if one of them is a 2. The way to think about this is that these 2 digits must add up to a number divisible by 10. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because this is the units digit that is the total for these 3 squares. That is the units digit. So you're going to deduct this units digit from the total, and you're going to leave either a number. If this was a 2, these would have to add to 20. If this was a 1, these have to add up to 10. So this must be a 1. I mean, if this was a 30, these 2 would have to add up to 30, wouldn't they? So that would be a 3 and a 27. That's not going to work. A 2 and an 18 won't work. So it must be a 1 and a 9. Now that doesn't. Oh, so 9 is in one of those squares by Sudoku. It's really interesting, this so far. Now hang on, let's go back to this then, because that is a 1. So that is 44 in the top bit of this sort of red cage. So okay, if they were, well, they can't be 1, 2 and 3, because then this wouldn't be, oh no, that would work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would work. That could be a 9. So 1, 2, 3 there. 50 is the minimum. So this is 5 or 6, this tens digit. Which is okay, that's sort of interesting, but it's not completely conclusive, is it? Okay, what about that tens digit then? That could be a 9, that could be an 8. So the minimum value of those squares is going to be 28, i.e. 17 45 minus 17, that's 28 plus 1 plus 2. That wouldn't work actually, because that would break this. So sorry, where were we? 28. So it's definitely 30 something at least. And a maximum, if this was a 2, that would be 11. So 34 plus 9 plus 8, I suppose. What's that? 51. So that's 3, 4 or 5. Okay. Sorry, that actually doesn't seem to be helpful. There's no rule about not... No, we must be able to repeat digits in the coloured regions, actually. It's impossible, because this one must have repeats in it. It's got, yeah, that digit's repeating 3 times. Okay, alright, so we've got to do something else then. Okay, what about this other small region then? Yeah, this is a 2. And I'm just using exactly the same principle I did up here. This digit is the units digit for this region, which means these 4 digits either add up to 10, 20, 30, 40, etc., etc. Well, they can't add up to 10, because that's at least a 6. And those will add up to at least 6 if they were a 1, 2, 3 triple. So 10 is out. 20 is what it must be, because if it was 30 and I made this a 3, these 3 have to add up to 27, and that can't be true. So that is a 2. And these add up to... these add up to 18. Now... Can we do anything with that? Okay, yeah, we could do something. Actually, I can do maths. Right. This one is no longer 6 or 7, because a 6 arrow would be 1, 2, 3, ruled out. A 7 arrow would be 1, 2, 4, ruled out. So this is big. Now, the other thing though I'm wondering about is that I know a little trick about a 3-cell arrow. And this is the trick. It must always have 2 low digits on it. 2 of the digits 1, 2 and 3. Why do I say that? Well, because if it didn't, let's imagine there was an arrow that had only 1 low digit on it, and let's make that low digit as low as we can. Let's make it 1. Then the other 2 digits, which are now not allowed to be low in our hypothesized situation, are 4 and 5. And 1 plus 4 plus 5 is 10, which is impossible. So there must always be 2 of the digits 1, 2 and 3. And this arrow, therefore, must have 1 and 3 on it. Now, what I'm seeing there is I'm actually going to come back to this cell. This is beautiful, if this is what you're intended to do, because now this cannot be low on this arrow. So it must be a middly digit. We can't put 7s, 8s and 9s on 3-cell arrows, and these 2 squares have to now be low, because we've just said on a 3-cell arrow there must always be 2 low digits. And that can't be a 2. So this is now not a 6, because this is at least a 4. This number here is at least... It's quite a big... Oh, but it would be quite a big number, wouldn't it, actually? I was going to say, because 1, 2 and 3 have been ruled out now of this domino. Because they must, well, they live in these squares. So, let me just mull this over for a moment. I suspect it's something to do with... Actually, I'm not sure. Okay, we should probably think about this, I think, a bit more seriously. What's the maximum here? Now, the maximum... okay, hang on. Can that... no, it can. Bobbins. I suddenly remembered those had to sum to 20. And if that's a 1... Or these 4 have to sum to 20. So if that was a 1, that has to be an 8-9 pair. If that's a 3, these have to sum to 15. So that's at least a 6. In all situations. If that's 1, it's totally forced. Yes, okay, but the value then of these 4 cells is quite restricted, because remember the whole box adds to 45. So these yellow squares add to 24, 25 or 26. So these add to 19, 20 or 21. So roughly 20-ish is what we're adding to those squares. But these squares have a minimum of 21. So this is at least a 4. And a maximum of, well, it depends what that is. If this was 8, there's quite a bit of maths in this, isn't there? If this was an 8, 1, 2, that would be the least it could be. That's 11. So this is at least 34. And that was a maximum of 21, which is 55, isn't it? It couldn't be 55. So this is a 4 or a 5, and is a middly digit, and that's a middly digit. Do I have to have a middly digit in that pair? That would be interesting to know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or, if you could stop that being a 3, it would be good, because then I would have 3 middly digits. I wonder, if that's a 3, is that must be a bit difficult. Yeah, the minimum, hang on. 3 is, I just feel like 3 is on the low side, because I've got 7 different digits there and quite a lot of digits here. But let's think about that. Is that, if that's a 3, what's this? That's 35 at most, isn't it? And the reason I say that, because this digit cannot be, we've got to make a valid arrow here. So if I do make this 3, this can't be more than 5, because 3 plus 6 plus 1 is 10. So 35 is the absolute maximum. That doesn't work. You can't do this. Right, because these squares, if I try and keep them down as low as I possibly can, these squares are adding up to 28. Oh no, it's much lower than that actually. This is nowhere near working, because, well, but let's assume that this could be a massive digit. That these squares are a minimum of 28 if they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But these squares are a minimum of 11. So we're already at 38 or something like that, and we know this cannot be a 38 type number. So this is not a 3. Okay, so if this is not a 3, now we're getting somewhere actually, because this is a middly digit, and these squares, we know this arrow has 2 low digits on it, and we actually know what they are. They are 1 and 3, because we can't have, so this could never have been a 4. Oh no, sorry, it never have been, no, hang on, it couldn't have been a 6, because 6, 1, 2 is impossible. So this is a 4, 5 pair, and that is a 6, and that's a 9 and I'm just going to check that, because my logic seemed to go a bit awry in the middle of that. Yeah, I think ever since this has been a 2, and I knew this arrow had 1 and 3 on it, I knew this couldn't have been a 6, but I wasn't really thinking about it being a 6. I was thinking about it being a 3, so I forgive myself. I don't often do that, but I will forgive myself there. Yeah, but it's true to say it can't be a 6, because this would have to be 6, 1, 2, and it can't be, in order to make this add up to a sensible number. So this is 4 or 5. That's 4 or 5, so that's a 6. And now this must be a 9, because we must accompany this with a 1, 2 pair, and we know the order. And suddenly digits are flying into the puzzle. No, well they are, but that's an 8 now. Because remember we said those added up to 20, so that's got to be an 8. Yeah, this is beautiful. Now look at this row. What digits have we not placed in this row? 7, 8 and 9. Where does the 7 go? Well, it goes there. I mean, the way I'm seeing that is that this can't be 8 or 9 because of this. So this is 8 or 9. This is 8 or 9. These squares are 3, 4, 5. Actually, I hope this does a bit more. Okay, so now I know what those add up to. They add up to 19. Because it's 3, 4, 5 plus 7, so that's 19. Yeah, it's going to be something to do with... Oh, I tell you what I could do. I haven't thought about this, but it might be worth thinking about. Can I do the bottom 3 rows? Is that a daft thing to think? Because what I'm wondering is, obviously 3 complete rows of a Sudoku sum to 135. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry, I was thinking I could narrow these down. Obviously, these account for 90, don't they? And that's another 20. So that's 110. So these 3 digits, but there's quite a lot of volatility there. Plus those digits have got to sum up to, what did I say? We're on 110. 25 is what they have to be. So, okay, but those add up to 10. So these have to add up to 15. Oh no, and you can do it 2 ways. That's bobbins worthy. That was such a nice idea. Okay, this is a 7 or a 6. And these 2 add up to 15. That's, oh, bingo, bingo, bingo. Because, remember what we said, those 2 are the same digit. And this C is a 1. So these are both 3. This is a 1, but more importantly, no, it's still not going to work. Oh, bobbins. I thought I was going to get, my brain told me I was going to get this digit, and my brain lied. That's not a 3 now. This is 126 actually. So it's sort of the mirror of this one. Because it can't have 3 on it. There are 3 ways of making 3 digits add up to 9. 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, both ruled out by the fact this is a 3. And 1, 2, 6. Oh, well, there you go. 1, 2, 6. So that is 7. And we said those 2 have to add up to 15, didn't we? So that's got to be 8. That's got to be 9. Now the arrow means this is a 5. That's a 4. We've done this row now, so that's a 48. Okay, I'm not quite sure. We can do the maths on. We can get the total of those 2 digits, I think, because what we've got here is 10. So 45 minus 10 is the sum of those, which is 35. And this whole thing sums to 51. So these have to add up to 16. We've got 9 already, so those add up to 7. And oh, it doesn't work. So they're either 1, 6 or 2, 5, and we don't know the order. We know that's not 1, so we know that's not 6. Oh, sorry. Okay, there's a virtual 5, 6 pair in the column because there's one of 5 and 6 required for this total to add up to 7. And there's another one there, look. Whoa, okay, so what do I have to do now? Oh, maybe column 1? 4, 5 and 8 to place. Yes, that's a 4. Can't be 5, can't be 8. So this is a 5, 8 pair. Oh, hang on, where's 2? Where's 2 in column 7? 2, last time I checked, 2 is not an odd digit, so it doesn't go there. So that's a 2. So, okay, 9 in column 8 is in one of 3 places. This is 1, 3 or 5. It sees 7 and 9. That one's got far too many options. I'm not doing that one. That feels ridiculous. Ah, hang on. Right, this portion of this yellow cage at the top, we know it's 34, isn't it? It's 45 minus 11. So that's 34. But we don't know what this digit is. Is there a way that we know this? I know what those 5 add up to. I think it depends on what you put here as to what this digit is. I mean, obviously it's quite a big digit. It's at least a 4. It's not 6. 4, 5, 7 or 8. And this was 34. And the minimum value of this is 7. 40. I suppose the minimum value of that is 45, isn't it? So this, hang on, where are we? So this has to add up to at least 11. And that's incredibly easy to do. At least 11. Oh, I don't see how to do it. Sorry, that's infuriating. It feels like I should be able to do it, and yet I can't. There's a 3 in one of those. 5, 8 here means there's a 5 in one of those. Oh no, I thought I might be able to do something clever with 1, but no. 7 is in one of those. That's not 8 anymore. If you could get rid of 9 from here, you'd know this had really low digits. It's got to have 2 low digits on it at least. It could have 3. Golly gosh, I don't know. If that was 4, 5, that would be 6. Oh, we do know those add up to 44, don't we? We've known that for a long time. And we know, okay, we know that's at least a 4. So this is at least 54. So these numbers add up to at least 10. That's not interesting. Okay, so I think what I'm thinking, I believe what we're going to have to do here is come up with something a bit cleverer than I've managed to come up with so far. Like there's a clever point that I've not seen, is what I feel. And it's probably maths. I'm not seeing where. I mean, could it be something like those 4 boxes? 4 boxes of a Sudoku must sum to 180. But the thing is, I don't think this digit's under a huge amount of pressure. I mean, okay, let's think about that. Is there a way that we can... I'm not sure. That's not 9. And this is an occasion when I wish 9 was not odd. I don't know, actually. I've got a few directions I could go in. But they all feel like they might get quite complicated. And so I'm not sure which is the best path to take. Let me think. 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Oh, hang on. What did I say? I said they had to add up to at least, was it 11? How did this work? I said that, yeah, okay, so these add up to at least 34. But this number is at least 45. So these have to add up to at least 11, but no more than 15. That's it. Ah, gosh, that's clever. Right, so if we know these add up to 34, let's max these out, 15, that's 49. So this is always a 4. When I say that's it, actually, it might not be it, but it does give me a 4. That means this is not a 4. Does it? And that means that there is a 4 in here. So the maximum value of this is now 12. And it had to add up to 11 or more, didn't it? So this is 4 with 7 or 8. There's no 3 or 5 here. Which means 3 and 5 in this column are here, which means this square is a 1. That is bonkers. That's not actually doing as much as I was hoping it was going to do. 3 is in one of those 2 squares. 5 is in one of these 3 squares. Okay. So what are the options? We're either got 11 or 12 here. So the total here is... that's perfect, isn't it? So it's either 45 or 46. It's never 47 or 48, so it is 45. Oh, that's gorgeous. That was quite complicated. So this has to add up to 11, so it is 4, 7. This is 3, 8, I suppose. These are 6, 7. Now, does that do any more for us? The answer is I don't know. That's now become a 6. So in this row we've not put in, that's not 5 anymore, we've not put in 7s and 8s. So this is probably bigger than we thought. Is that how we should be thinking about this? I'm not sure. We do know that, oh yes, no. Yeah, look, this is big. This is huge. That's 67 at least, but this portion of it's only 44. So this adds up to 23 or 24, which means... It means I don't know what that is, but I do know this is either... If it's 23, it's 6, 8, 9. If it's 24, it's 7, 8, 9. So it definitely has 8 and 9 in it. This is definitely not 9. These 3 squares add up to... Well, they're either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4, and they definitely have 1 and 2 in them. Okay, and the 2, this little 2's got interesting, because in this box I've got a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple, which means these squares are the digits 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, but the 2 is here, so that's not a 2. And it's not a 1 actually. It's not a 1 because of this digit, so the 1 and the 2 are there. This is brilliant. It's brilliant. So this is a 3, 4, 5 triple, which means this is a 5 and this is an 8. And now, that's not an 8. I presume what we've got to do, that's not a 9, because there's an 8 and a 9 in here. If, this is lovely. This is lovely. If that's a 4, that's a 7, and that square cannot exist in the puzzle. So it's got to be 3, 6, which means this is 7, 8, 9. Let's just, this is now 4. This, oops, that's 7. That's probably putting pressure on this thing. In fact, we know what we can. I wonder if I should have used this earlier, but I can now deduce the value of this, because look, in this box I've got 13 So 45 minus 13 is 32. Plus, in this box, I've got 21. So that's 53, isn't it? This is where it doesn't work, and I feel very stupid. Triangle number 6, 21. And let's just double check this. 13, 32, 20. It is 53. I've got 53 twice. 53 doesn't seem to break Sudoku. In fact, it gives me a 5 there. What do we need here then? 6. Yeah, where's 6 in that column? It's got to go there. So 6 and 8 go in. These square. Oh, these square. This is a 1-9 pair. Over here we've got 1, 2 and 6 to put in. That's the 3. Okay, let's get rid of the 3 corner mark. This is a 1, 2, 6 triple. This digit should be gettable. That's just a 4, right? It's a write-in. And these are 7. Oh, is this rope? I think we've got, yeah, we've got roping in the middle 3 rows, which might have been available some other way. I didn't see it if it was. Okay, 6 up here is very nice, because remember these had to add up to 7, didn't they? So they are now a 2-5 pair, and we know the order. Which means that's a 2 and that's a 1. This is no longer 5. This is no longer 9. So we've got 3s, 4s, 7s and 8s up here. I'm actually going to pencil mark it against my better judgment. 2 is still not an odd number. So just as 2 was useful there, 2 is useful here. It's got to go in that position, which means apparently it doesn't mean anything. That's weird. Okay, didn't do anything. That's not 4. So, no, I don't think this digit still is being recalcitrant. What do we need in this box? 1, 3, 6, 7. So the 1 and the 6 are here, and we know the order. Aha, 1, 6, 7, 3, 3, 4. These are 9 and 2, not resolved. These are 8 and 6, not resolved. 7, 9, not resolved. That's not 1 by Sudoku. Oh, look, I've got 24 here, plus 44. So that's got to be an 8. That's the 7. That's 7, that's 9, that's 9, that's 2, that's 6. Here we go. That's 6. That's 8. 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Apparently not resolved. 1, 2, 8 here. Also not resolved. Okay, so something over here is going to fix everything, I think. It's have I actually done all the totals now? I think I have. Have I used the totals is probably a better question. Like, is there going to be an area where I've got to put a particular digit in to make the total work? Actually, I'm not sure there is. 3, 7, 1. This is 5 or 9 by Sudoku now. Where is the little trick? Ah, 8 here is interesting, isn't it? Oh, that's very important. 8 in this column has to be there now. So does that do it? Ah, yes, it does. Look, 7, 9, 5, 5, 4. Okay. It's probably done. It's probably been done for a long time, and I just can't see why. Where's 9 in this box? It's got to be there. That's a naked single. 4, 3, 5, 7, 4. 7, 6, there we go, 2. I was wondering how we were going to get over there, but we have now got over there. 2, 1, 8, 1, 3, 3, 8. And that might be the solution to the puzzle. That was really clever. Let's see. Yes. Good grief. It's not... Oh, well, it's very old. I think it's older than this, actually. It says 590 days, but on Logic Masters, I think it's May 2021, and that's a lot older than this, but it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Manus Hand, Take a Bow. I'm sorry it's taken us so long to get to this puzzle. It certainly deserved a feature. It was really beautiful. There was some lovely steps in it. In fact, it was down here, wasn't it, eventually, that we make the breakthrough. And yeah, it was lovely logic along that section and interacting with this. Yeah, it was surprisingly deep, arithmetically rather than mathematically. I had to do some sums. That's what I had to do. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.